Okay, if you click on this video, it's because you're onto something. Whether you're exploring new options or you feel completely lost in your career, you are in the right channel, because here we create career possibilities. And in this episode specifically, I'm going to share with you 2 keys to discover what you want to do. So, pen and paper, let's open our minds and explore your possibilities. Now, just so you know, the keys that I will be sharing with you, this is what I use in myself when I did my own career reconversion, and this is mostly what I use with my clients to help them find the clarity that they need to find themselves professionally. So, key number 1, where are you now and what have you done so far? So let's start with this challenge. Write down the reasons that make you feel confused and makes you be not so clear about you anymore. When you do this, I'll tell you my story. A few years ago, I was in Paris. After I finished my MBA in entrepreneurship, I always had this idea to return to Venezuela and set up a consulting company. That was my dream, that was my ikigai, and I had been working on it for many years. But in 2012, things got really ugly in my country and got complicated. And I decided that it was best for me to stay in France, but then I needed to rebuild myself professionally. Now you can imagine these 2 countries are completely different. Different needs, different aspect, cultures, everything. So everything that I studied and prepared for didn't make sense anymore. So even if it sounds really ugly, I felt like I practically threw away 7 years of preparation and professional life design. That was really tough. I was super lost, and you can imagine how alone and out of place I was feeling. Now, if you identify with this, I'm going to share with you what I concluded in that moment. First, being lost and not knowing where to start is not only completely normal, and it happens to all of us at least once in our life, but sometimes being lost is exactly what it takes to find yourself again and to wake up with more clarity. So if this is your case, let's take advantage of this moment to do that exactly. So I invite you to do one simple but quite fun exercise. I invite you to tell yourself your own story. Go back and identify how much you've grown, what you built, what you've learned. Identify your skills and the knowledge that you've accumulated so far. You can go watch the video how to identify my competences so that you know exactly what to put in there and what to take into account to analyze your skills. But the most important thing that I want to tell you here is that there's no such thing as wasted time. Everything, absolutely everything that you've done can be capitalized, and you will see how many of your skills and knowledge that you have today are transferable for anything else that you would like to do. Now, this exercise will also help you see, as a conscious adult you are, that you already know what you don't want. You already know what you're going to say no to. You already know what you don't like. You already have a good starting base. To discover what you do want to do, I recommend you to take a list of all of your skills and discard everything that no longer inspires you, that really is not used for you. Just leave only the things that are interesting for you. Because many of my clients start with, let's find something feasible for me based on my experience. But feasible is not used. If it's not convenient, if it doesn't motivate you, because I can assure you that it will do the opposite. It will block all your intentions to getting what you really want. So open your mind, create possibilities. And in order to do that, you really must align with yourself, with your why, with your drivers, with something that really motivates you and excites you. And this, by the way, you also find it on your story, when you tell your own story. Look for moments in which you felt complete, fulfilled, where you have fun, where you were doing something that made sense and something that worked out for you. And I know that you've grown a lot, and probably you're no longer the same person, but the essence, your essence, is still there. Now, I remember when I was little, I used to play all the time with my sister, and for some reason, in every game we invented, I was either a teacher or I had my own business. No matter the game we created, in which context, I always ended up doing one of these things. And I had a lot of fun. Now, how is it possible that being so small, I already knew how I was going to define or design my professional life? Of course, in that moment, that was not conscious, but my unconscious did know everything. And yours also knows it. So go back to your story, relive it, revive it, and use it to identify the things that your subconscious already know. And now let's go and move on to the second key. Analyze your market so that you define exactly how you can capitalize your skills. Now, imagine that you have a target and you have 3 darts. You have to hit the middle in order to win the game, right? Now, what happens if you throw all 3 darts at the same time and you do it with your eyes closed? Well, unless you're super good at this game, the darts are going to go in different directions, you're going to miss the targets, and maybe you will lose the darts, right? The same thing happens when you don't know what you want to do and you just simply shoot arrows and you don't hit anywhere. That creates frustration, and that for sure will make you feel lost. So what happens if you have the same target and you throw one dart one by one with concentration and focus? So you will either hit the middle or at least you will be getting close to the goal, right? To discover what you want to do, you have to focus on each option that you evaluate. This target is your market. So you have to observe it, analyze it, wherever you are. You have to understand the job offers, the needs, the people, the companies, to identify what are the problems that exist in that market so that you can solve these things. Now, without that focus, you're going to lose all the darts, and understand that the darts are your skills and the darts are you, okay? Now, discovering what you want to do also includes exploring different options, exploring different markets, because most likely you will not only have a target, maybe you have 3 or 4. It doesn't really matter. There they are. These are options. More flexibility is fine. But the strategy is the same. If you throw all darts at the same time, you're not going to hit any target. So you have to really focus on one by one. Try to cover many things at the same time leads us to procrastinate, and most of the time it just simply leaves us stuck. We're not going anywhere. So here you have these 2 keys. Tell yourself your own story so that you have clarity of your drivers and your skills. And the second one is analyze the market so that you hit the target with certainty. Now, here's one last idea. Try something new. Get out of your comfort zone and dare to do something that you've never done before. Something that it will allow you to rediscover yourself or to learn something new about yourself. Doing something new always helps to open your mind and expand. Now, you know how this works? Follow this channel and activate your notifications, because in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about strategic positioning in the market, which, by the way, will also be super useful if you want to discover what you want to do in your life. Big kiss, and see you in another episode.